Hello and a very warm welcome to you to an action-packed afternoon. Plenty for our pundits to pore over today. They are Garth, Crooks, Gary, Pallister and Mark Brighton. They've been keeping a close eye on proceedings since 3 o'clock. All the scores and a whole lot more in the next 40 minutes. But first up, we're going to Old Trafford for goal news from Damien Johnson.
Yes, Wayne Rooney's just got a second for United. It's far from vintage from the home side. Dimitar Berbatov's deflected effort after a delicious through ball from Rooney finally broke the deadlock. Rooney just turned in the second himself just a moment ago. The clearest openings have all fallen really to the visitors under their new manager Brian Laws. Stephen Fletcher and David Nugent off target when clear through on goal. United have huffed and puffed. Berbatov clipped the post, but Rooney's goal has just ruined Burnley's big day. 2-0.
It's been one-way traffic at Stamford Bridge. Roger Johnson can tell us more.
Yeah, Chelsea 6, Sunderland 1, men against boys. The home side clearly benefiting from last weekend's winter weather break. Looked fresh and frightening even without Drogba and the other African nations' absentees. Anelka Malouda with a marauding run. Ashley Cole with a deft finish and Frank Lampard made it before the break. Fulop then saved brilliantly off bar and post before Ballack and Anelka kept the goal rush coming. Bolo Zenden's 18-yarder past Petr Cech will be scant consolation on the long journey home. Into the final 20 minutes, Chelsea 6, Sunderland 1.
Not exactly a goal rush at White Hart Lane, has it been, David Garrido?
No, Tottenham 0, Hull 0, but keeper Buzz Myhill is the reason why it's still goalless. Two fantastic double saves. Firstly, a Wilson Palacios pile driver, which Myhill parried into the path of Robbie Keane. He blasted his shot goal, which Myhill got his body in the way somehow to divert it over the bar. Then Myhill blocked Jermaine Defoe when the England striker was one-on-one, looked odds-on to score. And after that, another double save, would you believe? Luka Modric with the first shot, Keane again with a follow-up, both were denied. It's been an incredible performance from the Hull number one. For their strikers, well, the best chance has actually fallen to Spurs old boy Nicky Barmby, hitting the side netting after being played in by Stephen Hunt. It's been a frenetic and at times bruising encounter. Hull are looking for their first clean sheet on their travels this season, and they have to hang on for another 20 minutes or so to get it. It's Tottenham 0, Hull 0.
Wolves looking to do the double over Wigan at Molineux. It's not all going their way at the moment. Ivan Gaskell.
No, 18 minutes to go. Wolves 0, Wigan 1. An increasingly absorbing affair, this one. Wigan, on sheer weight of chances alone, deserved their lead. Rodallega alone should have scored a hat-trick. He struck a post and seen the excellent Hanneman save a penalty. Stearman and Thomas both dismissed for second yellows here, so it's 10 men apiece. But Wigan ahead, ironically, against Wolves through a man called McCarthy. Mick will just love that. 1-0 Wigan.
I think not. Jonathan Pearce was watching the early match at the Britannia Stadium. Let's get the full details now. Some interesting words from Rafa Benitez after that. We'll let you know about that and talk about that in a moment. But Ivan Gaskell needs to tell us, first of all, about a goal at Molineux.
Yes, Wigan are now on course for their second win in just 10 matches. And the increasingly influential, in this game at any rate, Charles N'Zogbia has given them that extra cushion that they really do deserve here. And N'Zogbia has been increasingly impressive in this second half. He led to the goal that was scored to break the deadlock, and he scored the second himself, neatly cutting inside and opening up the Wolves' defence to beat Hanneman in the corner. It's 2-0 Wigan.
Just when it was looking like it might get a little bit more even with the sending off and that Wolves might get back into it, close the door really, Wigan now.
Yeah, hardly surprising. Turning point, big turning point in the game is when, I think it's Stearman, pulls back for no apparent reason in the box, the Wigan player. The ball's in the air, it's going out of play, just pulls him back for no apparent reason. Gets sent off, second bookable offence. And of course, from then on in, the game's going away from Wolves. But there's a second incident, Gabby, when Spurs, it looks like, Wolves are going to get back on even terms, and Howard Webb is in front of David Jones, who can stop the goal from going in for Wolves, defend the goal. He can't because Howard Webb's in his way. And I think there's a case for David Jones literally pushing Howard Webb out of the way so he can get to the ball and defend the danger.
Let's talk about that match at the Britannia Stadium. Kyriakos looked like he'd done enough for Liverpool to take all points today. They didn't close the game down. They didn't shut up shop, did they, Liverpool? And,
no,
you know, points squandered
we've
again.
Seen it before. We've seen it in midweek against Reading. He played well, he didn't know Akolani playing. Maxi Rodriguez, who everyone thought you might play, didn't play. And at the end, Stoke, as we know, they bombarded Liverpool, pushed them right back, got the goal that they deserved, and then could have scored right at the end. I think hit the... Oh, no, sorry, Kaut hit the post when there's no reason for missing. Right in the middle of the goal, downward header, hits the post and goes wide. Liverpool could win. I don't think they did enough. I don't think they deserved to win. I thought that a draw was a fair result.
Garth, you alluded to it there, Brighty, that they concede goals. They have had this habit of conceding goals in the last minute or injury time even of the game. They did it in midweek and in Europe as well.
Reading, they've conceded. Fiorentina, they've conceded. Lyon, the Champions League, they've conceded. And now Stoke. They're having a real problem here, and they've got to sort it out.
What about Chelsea today? 6-1 against Sunderland. Would either say a brilliant Chelsea without their African contingent, or Sunderland haven't benefited from their few days in the sun?
Well, I don't think they've benefited. I think they're still on the beach out there. I think some of the Sunderland players. Chelsea have been terrific. There's no Drogba in the team today, but they've cut Sunderland to shreds. They haven't been close enough. They haven't tackled hard enough. They haven't worked as a unit together today, Sunderland. And Steve Bruce has got to be perplexed by the way they've performed. But don't take anything away from Chelsea. They've been rampant today.
We heard Barry Kilby a lot earlier on the programme defending his decision to give Brian Laws a chance in Premier League management. And, people have raised eyebrows this week saying it wasn't an ambitious appointment. But, his side frustrated Manchester United for a lot of this game.
Yeah, and they lost Fletcher, their leading goal scorer, went off with an injury in the first half. 0-0 at half-time. There wasn't much between the two teams. And if anything, I thought Burnley on the counter-attack had two really good opportunities where Fletcher screwed one wide where he should have scored. Then Berbatov just broke the deadlock, and then Rooney's added another one. Well, he looks formidable now.
The managerial merry-go-round certainly knows how to stop at QPR, doesn't it? More managerial shenanigans there this week. They're up at Bloomfield Road, where Mark Bishop has got another goal to tell us about.
Yes, Gabby, the Tangerine Dream is alive and well in this part of Lancashire. Blackpool 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1, QPR with caretaker manager Mick Harford standing beleaguered in his technical area. Wonderful effort from Southern, and there was Gary Taylor-Fletcher with a very cheeky flick to beat the goalkeeper at Akemi. Blackpool 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Alison Walker was at New Douglas Park for the early SPL kick-off. Here are the details of Rangers' second clash of the week with Hamilton.
Hamilton Accies 0, Rangers 1. Rangers 10 points clear at the top of the SPL, but this was a very, very difficult afternoon for the league leaders. Hamilton Accies had nearly put them out of the cup last weekend, and they had the bulk of the chances in this one too. No Boyd and Miller for Rangers. They couldn't find the net until the 78th minute. On the break, a great run from Sasa Papac, John Fleck with the initial shot, Nacho Novo picking up to score from the tightest of angles. Relief all round at the final whistle, as Hamilton Accies had tried but failed to find the equaliser. Hamilton Accies 0, Rangers 1.
Well, that result left Celtic 10 points behind Rangers at the top of the SPL, admittedly with 2 games in hand. They kicked off at 3 o'clock against Falkirk. Brian McLaughlin's been watching this one.
Yeah, and it's been hard work for them. It's Celtic 1, Falkirk 1. Carol Finnegan giving Falkirk the lead after 20 minutes. Georges Samaras equalising 5 minutes before the break. But Gabby, I'm pretty sure I've just witnessed the save this season. Keisha Young's free kick from 30 yards, destined for the top corner. Somehow Falkirk keeper Bobby Olesnik dived high to his left to tip the ball round the post. 10 minutes left, Celtic 1, Falkirk 1.
More goal news at Adams Park. Jackie Oatley can tell us.
And Charlton, third in the table, have retaken the lead against second from bottom Wycombe Wanderers. It had been coming. They've been piling on the pressure in the last few minutes. And John Joe Shelby was denied by an excellent save by Scott Shearer. But Nicky Bailey with the follow-up rifled the ball into the bottom left-hand corner of the net. It's Wycombe 1, Charlton 2.
The last time we visited the City Ground, Andy May declared that Nottingham Forest at times looking like Brazil. Hello?
Hello. They are kind of. It's not as comfortable as it was, but they are still leading 2-0 with Reading missing a penalty in the last 10 minutes. Brian Howard's spot kick was saved by Lee Camp, who's been excellent this afternoon. Paul Anderson opened the scoring in the first half with a cheeky chip. And just before the break, Robert Earnshaw slotted home his 8th goal of the season. For Reading, Icelandic striker Gunnar Thorvaldsson has gone close several times on his debut, but an Anfield-esque comeback looks very unlikely. 10-man Nottingham Forest 2, Reading 0.
Thank you, Andy. Let's go back to White Hart Lane. I understand, David Garrido, another save well worth watching on Match of the Day tonight.
Absolutely, appointment to view, no doubt about that. Boaz Myhill called into action again, flying to his left-hand side to block a Luka Modric shot, which looked bound for the top right-hand corner, just after scrambling to his left to collect up a Modric header. What else can Spurs do to get past him? He's had a terrific game. It remains goalless here at the Lane.
What about that save, Brighty?
Awesome. I mean, he's just had a great game. I think all the boys are in unison agree here. He's done a double save from Defoe, a double save from Keane. That was an excellent save from Modric. I mean, he has really kept them in the game. I have to say that I think in the whole of the first half, I don't think they had a shot on target Hall. In the second half, they had a couple of little openings because Spurs are pushing for it. Spurs need to win to get into the top 4.
OK, let's go back to Glanford Park. Scunthorpe United, you may remember, went last week to Derby, beat them 4-1 and caused all kinds of upset in the local Derby media after that one. And they're leading this afternoon against a team who supposedly have got aspirations of Premier League status, Steve Sutton.
Yes, and at long last, Cardiff have been kind of living up to that a little bit. They've come alive in this second half. They've had several chances. Anthony Gerrard headed over the bar from close range when his rather more illustrious cousin Stephen would have presumably have buried it. Michael Chopra ran onto a through ball through the middle and flashed it across the face of goal. But just a few moments ago, Michael O'Connor, who scored Scunthorpe's in the first half, saw his little prod goal bound, cleared off the Cardiff line. 1-0 to Scunthorpe still.
Sean O'Driscoll decided to stay with Doncaster Rovers this week and forego a chance to manage in the Premier League. Well, at Keepmoat this afternoon, Watford are the visitors, and James Mason, his players are letting him know they're delighted he did that.
They certainly are, Gabby, and just after they've just scored their second through Gareth Roberts, the whole team ran to the coaching staff. Sean O'Driscoll, Lee Butt, the goalkeeping coach, everyone involved in it, just to show how much the fans and the players, of course, think of their management team. They've been superb today. 2 goals of genuine class. Doncaster 2, Watford 0.
Let's go to the community stadium, an East Anglia derby. Andrew James, a grudge match, but plenty of goals.
Yes, it's Delia's revenge, Gabby, and not a dodgy curry or a poor summer fruits pudding in sight, but Norwich leading by 4-0 now. Substitute Ollie Johnson with Norwich's 4th. Gary Doherty got one straight after half-time after 2 goals in the first half from Chris Martin. Colchester had stoked this one up by complaining that Norwich hadn't settled compensation for the manager Paul Lambert, who moved to Norwich earlier this year, of course. Well, they've really taken them to task. Colchester have been poor. The pitch has been difficult with surface water, but Norwich full value. They lead by 4-0.
Norwich chasing Leeds United at the top of League One. And let's go to St James Park, where Leeds are the visitors this afternoon. And Tony Colliver, you have to go back to 1931 for the last time the home side got a win against Leeds. History about to be made?
I think it is now, because Ryan Harley has just added a second goal for the home side to put Exeter 2-0 to the good here. Leeds, transformed side in this second half, have had good chances to score from Beckford, Bromby and Hughes. All have been squandered. Looks like game over here. It's Exeter 2, Leeds 0.
To Jason Mohammed now. He's at the Liberty Stadium watching Swansea against Leicester. What's happening there, Jason?
Deja vu for these two sides today. Gabby, they've already met in the league in the FA Cup third round. Leicester won both those games at home. They're a goal down here. Gorka Pintado scoring for Swansea City on 32 minutes. Nathan Dyer on the right has been a real handful for Leicester's Ryan McGibbon. His cross was met by Pintado, his first of the season. Swansea's first goal at home since December the 8th. Leicester have been better in the second half. Martin Waghorn, Steve Howard and Danny and Gesson have made a big difference since coming on, and Gesson just missed an open goal, but from a tight angle. Swansea City 1, Leicester 0.
Steve Sutton almost predicted this, didn't he? Let's go back to Glanford Park. Tell us more, Steve.
Well, it had been coming. Cardiff have got an equaliser. A lot of good fortune about it, by the way. It was a shot, we think, from Hudson, which took a huge deflection. You've never seen as big a deflection in your life. The ball went sky high and looped over the Scunthorpe keeper into the back of the net. So it's all square, 1-1.
OK, some goal news at Bloomfield Road. Mark Bishop can tell us more.
What a fantastic goal from Matthew Connolly, Gabby. 2-2 it is now. Sensational strike, 25, 30 yards maybe. Top right-hand corner. Goalkeeper Achubka, no chance. And I'll tell you what, QPR, there may be turmoil off the pitch in the boardroom, but you wouldn't think so on the pitch. They really play well second half. They come right back at Blackpool, and it's 2-2.
But they have had some amazing results this season as well, QPR. It just makes you wonder what's going on at that club. If only we had time to discuss it, Garth. But I've got to go to Old Trafford now, because Damien Johnson's going to tell us that Burnley are looking to get back into this one.
Yeah, they're still lively, although one or two of their players seem to be blowing quite hard. Stephen Thompson, the substitute, just planted a header against the post. That's the nearest Burnley have come to scoring in this second half. They still trail 2-0. Michael Owen's on, a rare chance for him to possibly impress Fabio Capello. Is that all too late? I don't know. Burnley game still, but they trail 2-0.
Thank you, Damien. Let's hear what Rafa Benitez had to say after Liverpool's match at the Britannia Stadium. Listen closely towards the end of this interview with Jonathan Pearce.
It's been a desperately dark week for you, hasn't it? Can you see light at the end of the tunnel now?
Yeah, it was. Again, I would say really pleased because the players, they show great character today. So that is the reaction that you are expecting from the players.
Still, was there a typical sort of Liverpool creativity missing? A lot of passes went astray.
Yeah, but how can you play in this pitch with the other team pushing all the time, and when you are losing 5 players, and when you talk about the players that we have lost, so it's not easy. So I am really pleased with the performance of the players on the pitch.
I see kids like Insua and Go, they're playing under a lot of pressure, a team that hasn't been playing well, you've said that yourself. How difficult is it for young boys?
I think it's always difficult, but they are professionals and they're doing well, so the main thing always is to try, and then they were trying.
And the fans sang your name. Is that special for you?
Yeah, the fans are amazing. If I decide to stay here, it was because of the fans, so they know that I will be fighting until the end. Today, okay, we were very close and we will keep going.
In your career, have you known a week as despondent, as depressing as this one has been up until today?
Yeah, I think that sometimes you have bad moments, and now is again a moment that we have to show character. The players, the managers, the staff, everyone, and the fans, they show the same, so they are behind the team. That is the main thing for us.
If I decide to stay here, I don't think I've heard him say anything like that up until now, Garth.
Neither have I. And I have to say, Liverpool fans traditionally do not turn on their manager, but you feel and hear the dissent developing. And there's a lot of discontent at Anfield at the moment around Rafa Benitez. If he's made to feel uncomfortable, I don't care how much money you've got as a manager, your career's and reputation's at stake, and he may just walk.
I just think that with the players he had out today, Gerrard, Benayoun and Torres, it was going to be a struggle. In the end, they could have won, but they could have lost. And this time last year, Gabby, they were top of the Premier League, 2 points ahead of Man United. I think that's the huge turnaround which the fans see.
Well, they're in 7th place right now, and the team in 4th place right now are at White Hart Lane. Tottenham playing Hull. It's goalless, but is there any way into this match, do you think, for Spurs, David Garrido?
Well, they're still trying, yeah. I mean, Luka Modric just fizzed a shot past Spurs Myhill's left-hand post. You have to say it'd be mighty, mighty harsh on the Hull keeper if they were to concede in these last, 4 minutes of the game. The Vistas trying to shut up shop. They've brought on Stephen Muyakolo for Richard Garcia, and Spurs trying absolutely anything. Myhill again, just having to come into play there and tip the ball for a long crossfield punt out for a corner. Peter Crouch obviously has been involved with plenty of the play since he's come on, but at the moment Spurs class isn't having any kind of tangible effect on the game. It remains Tottenham 0, Hull 0.
Bristol City 4, Preston North End 1. Let's go to London Road. It's not been Peterborough's day. 2 men sent off. Another goal since the last time we spoke, John Anderson.
Yes, it's 3-0 to Derby now. They've wrapped it up. DJ Campbell getting his second of the game. Chris Commons on as a substitute with a lovely cross from the left-hand side. And Campbell flying in to head home after he'd made it 2-0 early in the second half. Craig Morgan and Ryan Bennett both sent off in the first. Steve Davis getting the opening goal for Derby with a penalty. Peterborough will stay rooted to the bottom. It's Peterborough 0, Derby 3.
Mark Cooper, of course, the manager now at London Road. It used to be Darren Ferguson. He's making his debut as manager of Preston North End, Ashton Gate, and Steve Lee can tell us how that's gone.
Not very well. It's Bristol City 4, Preston 1. We thought that we'd seen the last of the Snow, but the delightfully named Evander Snow, the Bristol City substitute, has just smashed in their 4th, which completes a really wretched day for Darren Ferguson. Goals from Danny Haynes, Liam Fontaine, captain Lewis Carey for Bristol City. Chris Brown's got one back for Preston, but Darren Ferguson, his hands thrust into his pockets. He'll have better days. It's 4-1 Bristol City.
Well, Gordon Strachan's only managed 2 wins so far in his reign as Middlesbrough manager. His side at Bramall Lane this afternoon. Alan Biggs is watching this one. Of course, the home side got that goal, and you said it was a goal the game desperately needed. How's it gone since then?
It's not been any better, actually, Gabby. Since then, it remains Sheffield United 1, Middlesbrough 0. Strachan made 5 changes today, with 3 new players in from the start, but little has changed otherwise for Middlesbrough. It's the same old Sheffield United as well. Fierce, ultra-competitive, unyielding. They broke a grim deadlock here with Richard Cresswell's second half header. Chris Killen, one of the Borough new boys, had the best chance to level, but he and the other ex-Celtic players, Robson and Flood, have had little joy in a joyless game.
Thank you, Alan. Let's go back to Roger Johnson at Stamford Bridge for more goal news.
Guess what? Another goal for Chelsea. 7-1 now. Frank Lampard's second of the game as we move into added time at the end of the match. It was a Nelka's cross. He's got 2 as well, remember. Drove it across the Sunderland penalty area. Picked his spot as well. He knew exactly what he was doing. Hard onto the forehead of Frank Lampard and hard past Martin Fulop at the end of a hard afternoon. 7-1 to Chelsea.
Just don't think there's time for a comeback, is there? OK, let's go to home park now. Hamish Marshall watching Plymouth play Crystal Palace.
And Palace are leading by 1-0. They lead thanks to a goal from Victor Moses, his 6th in 8 games. They can't count the chickens yet, though, but it's the weather which could be their biggest danger. It's been lashing with rain since the first half, and water is lying on a cut-up pitch. But we've just got 4 minutes to go, so it would be a very brave referee that would confront Neil Warnock and call it off now. Palace lead 1-0.
More goal news at the Community Stadium. Andrew James.
It's another goal for Norwich. 5-0 to Norwich. Grant Holt with the man that got it, and of course they missed a penalty too. Not quite the 7 that Colchester scored, but the point to Norwich. Colchester 0, Norwich 5.
Screams of, oh, what a save. David Garrido. It's got to be Myhill, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Amazing, guesswork there, Gabby. Yeah, Myhill basically keeping out Peter Crouch. It was a lovely floated free kick from Nico Cranshaw. Crouch rose highest above them all, no surprise there. Clean header, and Myhill again just dived away to his left-hand side to keep it out once more. What a performance from Burs Myhill here today. Tottenham 0, Hull 0.
Let's go to the Keepmoat Stadium and way back in for Watford. Surely the clock ticking down, no time. James Mason.
Yep, last few minutes to go, but Heide Helgeson has scored a possibly consolation goal for Watford. It's now 2-1. Doncaster 2, Watford 1.
OK, let's go see Harry Gratian at Oakwell. He was enjoying this ding-dong. How's it been going lately?
Well, it's been a bit quieter, but I have to say, what a start this could be for Alan Irvine. Spur Johnson got Wednesday's goals in the first half, half% for Barnsley. In the second half, Wednesday defended well, and Johnson went desperately close to nearly extend their lead. 3 minutes of stoppage time left. OK, let's get an update from Damien Johnson. Actually, it's goal news at Old Trafford.
Yes, United home and hose now, 3-0, and a first United goal for Mame Biram Diouf. Not often that someone with that name gets loud applause at Old Trafford. No relation, I don't think, to El Hadj, but it was a fairly opportunist goal. The ball was long, and the goalkeeper Jensen failed to come. Diouf just got his head to it, lifted it over the keeper Jensen, and United home and dry, 3-0.
Final whistle has blown at Stamford Bridge, but not without since 2001. More goal news from the City Ground. Andy May can tell us more.
It's Jimmy Kebe, the sub, with a header at the far post after a cross from the left-hand side. Camp completely missed it. The whistle's about to go any minute now, so I don't think it's going to make a difference as Reading push for an equaliser. The ball's hoofed up in the air by Tyson for Forest. It's still 2-1 to the home side.
Full-time whistle has blown at Celtic Park. Brian McLaughlin, they've lost more ground.
They certainly have. It's finished Celtic 1, Falkirk 1. Both goals coming in the first half. Carl Finnegan giving Falkirk the lead after 20 minutes. George Samaras equalising 5 minutes before the break. Marc-Antoine Fortune looked to have won Celtic a penalty with just 6 minutes left when he was bundled down the box by Brian McLean. It looked a stonewall penalty. Referee Alan Muirdo waved away the claims at Parkhead. It's finished Celtic 1, Falkirk 1.
Before today, Ipswich were unbeaten in 7 home games. Let's go to Portman Road. Is that record likely to extend today, Tony Lockwood?
It is. They haven't lost at home since late September, Gabby. They lead here. Roy Keane's side recovering from a dreadful start as Clinton Morrison struck for Coventry from fully 20 yards. The ball flying in off the inside of the post. Stern John with an equaliser late in the first half. And then Grant Ledbetter's delightful flick for Jack Colback, whose assured finish put them in front for the first time. On course to avenge that opening day defeat. In time added on, it's 2-1 Ipswich.
Let's go to Bramall Lane. Full-time whistle has blown there. Alan Biggs has been watching for us.
It's Sheffield United 1, Middlesbrough 0. It's now only 2 wins in 12 for Middlesbrough and only 8 points in Gordon Strachan's 11 matches as manager. And really, they deserve no better here today than the 1-0 defeat. All right, a draw might have been fair. Sheffield United didn't contribute much either to a joyless, grim game of football, but they did get the only goal, Richard Cresswell's header, early in the second half. Middlesbrough's chances were fleeting. Most of them fell to Chris Killen on his debut, one of the 3 ex-Celtic players, but lack of creativity was at the heart of Middlesbrough's downfall here. They've lost again by 1-0.
Let's go to Old Trafford. Damien is sweet, hey, Andrew James?
Colchester 0, Norwich 5. Gabby, credit to Norwich, they didn't manage complete revenge by matching the 7 goals Colchester put past them on the opening day, but they'll be happy enough with the 5 they scored and a missed penalty too. 2 first-half goals from Chris Martin set up a victory in this East Anglian grudge match. Further goals from Doherty, Ollie Johnson and Gary Holt Grant Holt merely helped the embarrassment on Colchester chairman Robbie Cowling, who cranked up the animosity with pre-match comments over Norwich's failure to agree compensation for his former manager Paul Lambert. Norwich get the points, but Colchester just couldn't cut the mustard. Colchester 0, Norwich 5.
Well, they couldn't do the double over Wigan, could they, Ivan Gaskell at Molineux?
No, Wigan winners, and rightly so. Wolves' Richard Stearman setting the tone for a Wolves side who lost their way in this game, stupidly pulling down McCarthy to earn a dismissal on half-time, though Rodalega's penalty was saved by the excellent Hanneman. Wigan seized the initiative. McCarthy gave Wigan the lead. Oh, the irony. They never looked back, and Zogby had capped an influential display with an incisive run and finish. Thomas dismissed for Wigan to even the sides up, but only numerically. Trust me, Wigan were far better.
Full time at White Hart Lane. David Garrido has been watching this one.
Tottenham 0, Hull 0. No prizes for guessing who is man of the match here. Boaz Myhill producing no doubt his best performance of the season so far. It is worth detailing the full repertoire. Double save from Palacios and Keane. Another one to keep out Modric and Keane in between. A 1-on-1 against a foe. Then a flying save to deny Modric once more. And then another as Crouch was denied late on. Watch it all on Match of the Day tonight. No surprise then that Hull enjoyed only a few chances at the other end. The best was Spurs old boy Nicky Barmby hitting the side netting, but they were organised and industrious in a real physical battle throughout. Plenty of bookings and both physios earning their money today as well. But thanks to Boaz Myhill, Hull have their first clean sheet away from home this season. Tottenham 0, Hull 0.
Let's go to Tannadice. Ian Turner's was watching third against fourth. Ian.
Managerless Dundee United move into third top spot in the SPL after outplaying a disappointing Hibs side who only really got going in the last 15 minutes. Graham Smith superbly saved a David Goodwillie penalty before the latter set up Danny Swanson for the only goal of a game full of chances. Dundee United 1, Hibs 0.
To the City ground, Andy May said at times they played like Brazil. They got the win in the end, but Reading almost got back into it.
Yeah, almost at the end. No FA Cup-style comeback, though. Forest's unbeaten run continues. It's 18 matches now there to defeat in the Championship. Anderson scored early on after a great counter-attack, and then Earnshaw helped himself to goal number 8 this season from close range. Kebe nicked a consolation goal right at the end for the away side, who missed a penalty after Nicky Shorey brought down Jimmy Kebe. Nottingham Forest 2, Reading 1.
Yeah. Let's go to Portman Road. They were playing extra time there, and it's made a difference, Tony Lockwood.
It has, because Coventry have equalised. The side who were put out of the FA Cup by Portsmouth with the last kick of the game could, with the last action of the game, have got a point. Richard Woods, late equaliser. It's 2-2, and we are minutes into extra time. That should be it, and Ipswich have blown it. 2-2.
Tony playing for extra time himself there, wasn't he? Waiting for that final whistle. Let's go to St James Park. Tony Colliver, history made. It's taken them almost 80 years, but finally they've got another win over Leeds.
They have indeed. Exeter City 2, Leeds United 0. A brace from Exeter midfielder Ryan Harley was the difference between the two sides on a day where Leeds were ultimately punished for a very poor first-half performance. The Devon side dominated the first half and should have led by more at the break. Leeds, though, did have great opportunities to score in the second half, all were missed. So Exeter inflict only Leeds' second league defeat of the season. It finished Exeter 2, Leeds 0.
We've got some goal news. Apparently it wasn't all over, was it, Tony Lockwood at Portman Road?
It's 3-2, and I can't quite believe that what I thought was going to be the end at 2-2, Ipswich, Gabby, have gone down the other end, and Pablo Canago has scored Ipswich's 3. They're going to win it, 3-2.
Still haven't had a final whistle, though, Tony, so don't
Still
be so sure. And it used to happen to Ipswich the other way around, didn't it, at the beginning of the season? We'll hear the final whistle in a moment, I'm sure. Don't forget, you can get all the build-up and all the goals as they go in from 2:30 every Saturday. We're here for you. All you've got to do is press the red button. OK, time now to get the full classified results with Tim Gudgin.
Starting with the Barclays Premier League, Chelsea 7, Sunderland 2. Everton and Man City kick off at 5:30. Manchester United 3, Burnley 0. Portsmouth match with Birmingham City postponed. Stoke City 1, Liverpool 1. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Hull City 0. Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Wigan Athletic 2. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Barnsley 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Blackpool 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Bristol City 4, Preston North End 2. Doncaster Rovers 2, Watford 1. Ipswich Town 3, Coventry City 2. Nottingham Forest 2, Reading 1. Peterborough United 0, Derby County 3. Plymouth Argyle 0, Crystal Palace 1. Scunthorpe United 1, Cardiff City 1. Sheffield United 1, Middlesbrough 0. Swansea City 1, Leicester City 0. In League 1, Brentford 3, Carlisle United 1. Colchester United 0, Norwich City 5. Exeter City 2, Leeds United 0. Hartlepool United 0, Milton Keynes Dons 5. Huddersfield Town 2, Southend United 1. Leyton Orient and Bristol Rovers had their match postponed. Millwall 1, Southampton 1. Stockport County's match with Oldham Athletic, another postponement. Swindon Town 3, Gillingham 1. And a third postponement, Tranmere Rovers against Yeovil Town. Walsall 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Charlton Athletic 2. In League 2, Accrington Stanley's match with Rotherham United postponed. AFC Bournemouth 1, Bury 2. Barnet 1, Lincoln City 2. Bradford City and Notts County another postponement. Burton Albion 1, Shrewsbury Town 1. Chesterfield 1, Torquay United 0. Dagenham and Redbridge 2, Crewe Alexandra 0. Darlington and Aldershot Town postponed. Grimsby Town 0, Cheltenham Town 0. And all those last three, Hereford United, Morecambe, Macclesfield Town, Northampton Town, Rochdale and Port Vale, all postponed. In the Blue Square Premier, AFC Wimbledon 2, Mansfield Town 0. Barrow and Histon postponed. Cambridge United 0, Eastbourne Borough 1. Crawley Town and Chester City postponed. Ebbsfleet United 1, Altrincham 2. Forest Green Rovers 1, Gateshead 0. Kettering Town, Ruston and Diamonds, Kidderminster Harriers and Grays Athletic, Luton Town and Salisbury City, all three postponed. Oxford United 0, Tamworth 1. Wrexham and Stevenage Borough postponed. And York City 4, Hayes and Yeading United 1. In the Clydesdale Scottish Premier League, Celtic 1, Falkirk 1. Dundee United 1, Hibernian 0. Hamilton Academical 0, Rangers 1. Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 3. And St Johnstone's match with Aberdeen postponed. In the Arnbrew Scottish Division 1, first two matches, Ayr United, Adria United, Greenock Morton and Inverness Caledonian Thistle both postponed. Wraith Rovers 1, Partick Thistle 0. And Ross County's match with Queen of the South postponed. In Scottish Div 2, Brecon City and Dumbarton, Clyde and Alloa Athletic both postponed. East Fife 2, Cowdenbeath 2. Stenhousemuir 1, Arbroath 1. And Stirling Albion and Peterhead postponed. In Scottish Div 3, first three matches, Albion Rovers, Livingston, Elgin City, Annan Athletic, Forfar Athletic and East Stirlingshire, all three postponed. Montrose 4, Stranraer 5. Queen's Park 2, Berwick Rangers 0. In the Welsh Premier, CPD Portmarnock 0, Bala Town 2. Newtown and Neath postponed. Port Talbot Town 2, Frill 1. Prestatyn Town 0, Aberystwyth Town 2. And Welshpool Town and Castries postponed.
So there's no change at the top after Chelsea and Manchester United both won. The Blues, you'd imagine, will be the happier, giving their goal difference a healthy boost, putting 7 past Sunderland. They haven't done that for 12 years. That's scored 7 goals. Third-placed Arsenal play tomorrow, while Tottenham move up to 4th, despite only drawing today. Manchester City can reclaim that Champions League spot if they get anything out of their clash with Everton. That game gets underway very shortly. Aston Villa are also in action tomorrow. Liverpool stuttered again today with a draw at Stoke. They stay 7th. At the bottom, Portsmouth game called off because of a waterlogged pitch, so they stay bottom. Bolton and West Ham both playing tomorrow, and Hull took advantage of that. Their point at Tottenham lifting them out of the bottom 3. Wigan move up to 13th after their win at Wolves, who've slipped deeper into trouble. The Championship leaders Newcastle not in action until Monday night when they host third place West Brom. Nottingham Forest took their chance and they applied some pressure on them both with a comfortable home win over Reading. Forest 2 points behind Newcastle, 4 clear of West Brom. Peterborough slipped to a 13th defeat of the season, having 2 men sent off in the first half. Plymouth also lost and slipped to second bottom. Leeds still top of the table despite a surprise defeat to Exeter today. Norwich, of course, have cut the gap. Charlton, Huddersfield and Swindon also won, so playoff place is unchanged. At the bottom, no change to the bottom 4, mainly because 3 of them didn't play. Leaders Rochdale in League 2 not in action but continue to sit pretty at the top of the table because Bournemouth lost at home to improving Bury, who move into the playoff places as well. At the bottom, Darlington were the victims of a waterlogged pitch. The Quakers find themselves 17 points from safety after results went against them this afternoon. Lincoln continue to show signs of improvement with a victory at Barnet. At the Blue Square, leaders Stevenage had their game at Wrexham postponed. Let's move to the bottom. Chester not in action this afternoon due to the weather. The Trouble Club have been stuck on -3 points since early December. Grays also had their game postponed. And quick look at the SPL. Rangers increased their lead at the top of the SPL to 9 points after they beat Hamilton, and Celtic surprisingly held at home this afternoon by bottom of the table. Falkirk stay bottom. Handy though, that point, wasn't it, at Celtic? Let's have a look at what's coming up for you. Match of the day on at 10:30 on BBC One tonight. Straight after that, Manish and Steve have got all the goals and the action from the Football League, 11:50 on BBC One. And Match of the Day 2, slightly later than usual, 10:55 on BBC One tomorrow. Performance of the day, team performance of the day. Garth.
Chelsea, rampant. Sunderland, woeful.
Individual must know. And your favourite performance of the day?
No, I just think Manchester United struggled first half, ended up winning. Spurs struggled and didn't win. I think Aaron Lennon was missing from Spurs, so...
OK. Garth and Gary and Mark, thank you very much. You're staying with me, of course, because Final Score continues on the red button and online, of course. You can join us there if you like. We'll get all the reaction from the matches. We'll hear from the managers. We're even going to see some goals. You'd be silly not to join us there, wouldn't you? But if you decide not to, have a great weekend and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.